Welcome to Release Readiness Live. I'm Elna Miller, your host for today. We are broadcasting from our home studios this week again to bring you some of the new features from the Winter 21 release. After our product team shares the highlights, we will be spending some time taking your questions live on the air. So we'll be monitoring both the Release Readiness Trailblazers community as well as Twitter. So post your questions as soon as you can and be sure to use the hashtag Salesforce Live. We do recommend you post your longer, more detailed questions in the community so the conversation can continue after the webcast. If we don't get to your question on the air, we'll be sure to follow up with you within a few days. Now, all of our webcasts will be available on the Salesforce Live website for later viewing. Since we may be talking about the roadmap and making some forward-looking statements, please make sure that any purchasing decisions you make are based on currently available functionality. Now, let's get started with Field Service Lightning and meet our product managers.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Release Readiness Live of Winter 21. I'm Yongchang, Director of Product Management. Today, we're very excited to share with you the many amazing features in the Salesforce Field Service across our 4 product pillars of Asset, Resource, Mobile, Foundation, to help customer to shorten time to value. First, I'll be introducing the Asset pillar features. Let's dive in.
In the Winter 21 release, we'll have a closed beta for the Maintenance Plan Advanced Recurrence feature, and we will also GA the warranty data model. On our roadmap coming soon, we plan to 1. GA Maintenance Advanced Recurrence, 2. Introduce a data model to support product campaigns. And finally, we are also very excited to launch Asset 360 to help customers reduce time and complexity of standardizing operational processes. Starting with the last release, asset managers could define multiple granular calendar-style maintenance cadence for an asset. Building on this, in the closed beta of the Winter 21 release, I'm thrilled to announce this most requested feature by pilot customers that allows the creation of one work order for assets that should be serviced together using advanced recurrence. The asset managers will be able to group multiple maintenance on the same day, whether they are for the same or different assets, as work order line items under one work order, so that their technician can take care of all the work in one visit. Now let's take a look at the demo. Alex, who is the asset manager for IVAC, defined maintenance schedules for the assets IVAC maintains for Ohana Inc. at their San Francisco office. The office has a chiller and a turbine. The chiller has monthly inspections on the second Monday. Alex sees that the recurrence pattern is now displayed in an easy-to-understand text. For example, every month on the second Monday with no end date, she no longer has to interpret the programmatic syntax of the recurrence rules. The massive turbine needs a lot of maintenance. In fact, Alex created a weekly inspection every Monday, a monthly cleaning every second Monday, and an overhaul every 2 years on September 14. Alex can now also specify the termination of a recurrent service using an end date or how many times the service will be performed, such as after 5 occurrences. This table lists the upcoming work that will be generated by each maintenance work rule for each asset. As September 14 is the second Monday of a month, the 3 different types of maintenance for the turbine and the inspection for the chiller all are scheduled for that day. On the maintenance plan details, when Alex elects to generate one work order line item, a WOLI per asset, a work order line item will be created for each relevant maintenance work rule and asset. Those with the same suggested maintenance date will be rolled up under a single work order. Alex has already generated the work orders. Sure enough, on the generated work orders and Wallies, she sees that on September 14, there is one work order with 4 Wallies covering the 3 maintenance for the turbine and 1 for the chiller. With this feature that groups multiple work for multiple assets under one work order, Alex knows that her technicians would take care of all the required work under one maintenance plan in a single visit, maximizing the productivity of all her technicians. You're probably familiar with the service contract, which is used to capture the warranty terms. In the upcoming Winter 21 release, we're introducing the new warranty management data model, which is specifically created to handle warranties. Let's first get familiar with the new warranty data model. Then I'll explain the difference between it and the service contract object. The warranty management data model consists of the following 3 objects: product warranty term, and asset warranty. Warranty term is associated with a product via product warranty term and represents the default warranty terms for that product. Warranty terms may include information such as the effective start date, duration, what's covered, what's not, and more. Aloha Inc. just bought a brand new chiller from IVAC, which is currently running a sales campaign and offers an extended 36 months warranty. A product may have multiple warranties. This product has already a regular warranty. To support the campaign, it needs an extended warranty. Let's create one. An extended warranty term is created. Once the chiller is installed, an asset warranty object is created. This object captures the warranty terms that are applied to the sold product, Aloha Inc.'s new chiller. When implementing the new warranty management data model, customers may want the asset warranty to be automatically populated with the default values as they appear in the warranty term object. This does not come out of the box. To set this up, an automation process needs to be created using the process builder. Now let's take a look at how warranty management is different from the service contract. Service contract can cover multiple assets in a single contract, whereas warranty is unique to a single asset. Service contract can have several line items that are associated with different kinds of service types. Warranty is intended to specify the service covered for one asset only. When it ends, a service contract may be renewed, which usually involves a renewal process. When warranty ends, it simply expires. The process in service contract is linked to contract management, whereas for warranty, it is part of warranty management. The validity dates of a service contract apply to all the assets under the contract. As long as the contract is valid, the assets are covered. When a contract ends, it may be renewed. For warranty, once an asset is created, the validity dates are usually determined by the purchase date and throughout the coverage period as stated by the manufacturer. A service contract can be very detailed and complex. In terms of coverage, it may use different coverage levels and may apply various pricing. Coverage may include a discount on some of the assets and full price for the other. It can also be location dependent and may incorporate different rates for different locations. A warranty, on the other hand, is pretty much straightforward and details the coverage level and pricing for labor, parts, and expenses per asset. From the end user point of view, a service contract specifies the user's entitlement to different service types, levels, and maybe also discounts. Warranty, on the other hand, simply states that Once a product is sold, if it breaks down, it is covered for a given period in terms of labor, parts, and expenses. The creation of a service contract is usually done throughout a sales process. For warranty, it is created as soon as a product is sold. A service contract is customized and negotiated as part of the sales process, whereas for warranty, it is created by default based on the product warranty terms. A service contract is created by the service provider, whereas warranty is created by the manufacturer. The service for both a service contract and a warranty is usually performed by the service provider, yet a warranty is linked to the manufacturer, whereas a service contract is linked directly to the service provider. Hierarchy is only supported by service contract, where sometimes under a major contract, there are subcontracts per location or business unit. This does not exist for warranty. Finally, from a financial perspective, service contracts are a way for companies to generate revenue. It is a service they sell along with their products. Warranty, on the other hand, is an obligation of manufacturers to their customers. If an asset requires service, this obligation becomes an expense for the company. It does not provide the company with extra revenue. That's it. As you can see, the new warranty management data model is asset-centric and is specifically aimed at handling warranties. We also have a very compelling roadmap ahead for the asset pillar with lots of improvements to shorten time to value. First, we continue to improve the effectiveness of asset managers in setting up preventive maintenance for all their assets. In the GA release, we are introducing another top feature requested by the pilot customers. It is the ability to define maintenance work rules at a maintenance plan level. For example, a fire safety service provider just signed up a new account to maintain its building. One of the preventive maintenance involves a semi-annual inspection and an annual battery replacement for all the smoke alarms in the building. Instead of having to create 2 maintenance work rules for each of the 500 smoke alarms, the asset manager just needs to create 2 maintenance work rules for the maintenance plan and put all the smoke alarms under it as maintenance assets. This feature makes the setup a breeze. Also coming soon is a data model for product campaigns. Most likely, you've had experience with recalls for vehicles with unsafe airbags or mobile phones with defective batteries. The manufacturer has to conduct a product campaign to execute actions such as providing repairs or getting defective products returned on a large number of assets in order to avoid breaking customers' trust or violating legal compliance. The product campaign data model helps manufacturers effectively track and manage product recalls, firmware upgrade, mandatory audits at scale. This increases the efficiency, transparency, and reach of a campaign while reducing its costs. Okay, last but not the least, coming in November is Asset 360, built by ServiceMax natively on Salesforce Field Service. It is a brand new offering that helps customers speed up business processes and enables them to benefit from 3 times a year releases. First, it helps accelerate time to value with pre-configured templates and industry best practices to increase productivity for asset-centric business processes, leveraging years of experience from ServiceMax. In addition, Service Process Manager is a no-code configuration tool that allows you to build and maintain end-to-end complex multi-day field service processes and guide everyone involved in the process to take the right actions at the right time. Secondly, ServiceMax is building additional UI and automation on the warranty data model to help customers better manage their warranty and entitlement. For example, creating the right warranty when an asset is created, or automatically helping call center agents select the applicable entitlement to be associated with a work order. This provides greater visibility into warranty coverages and improves service margin by preventing uncovered work. Third, Asset 360 will provide best practices for service contract renewal so as to maximize renewals as well as the number of assets in the installed base that are covered by contracts. Finally, ServiceMax is building standard processes for return merchandise authorization and depot repair. Customers will be able to customize these processes to efficiently manage returns, meet compliance, and lower inventory costs.
That's all for the asset pillar. Thank you for your attention. I'm going to turn over now to Zach for more updates from the resource pillar.
Thank you, Jan. Awesome stuff there at the asset pillar. I'm Zach from Tel Aviv, and we'll deep dive into the resource pillar features. We'll go over some of the highlights, where the full list of features could be found on the Winter 21 Field Service release notes. Street level routing, also known as SLR, is now generally available. SLR considers real turn-by-turn data, and with it, you can improve the accuracy of your travel time estimations between service appointments. To use it, simply turn it on in the Field Service settings page in the Manage package. Dynamic priority introduces service appointment as another object you can use to drive priority and use its attributes like due date to dynamically increase or decrease priority. Customers with advanced and complex use cases can also use the 1 to 100 priority scale, increasing the current 1 to 10 scale to provide more granularity. Timesheets are now generally available with mobile timesheets. Mobile workers can now log their time and submit current and past timesheets for approval from within the Field Service mobile app. They can also log current location time zone on a timesheet entry in case they move between time zones. This will help improve time tracking for resources utilization, but also help different reporting needs, such as payroll calculation. Let's go ahead and check out timesheets live on stage. Alan is a field service engineer who has just finished another day of work, and now he'd like to view and log time. From the Profile tab, Alan clicks on the timesheet icon on the top left corner of the screen. Here, Alan can view and log hours on the current active timesheets, but Alan would also like to go and view past timesheets and make sure he logged every hour. In the Past Timesheets screen, Alan is able to view past timesheets, status, and whether it has been submitted, approved, or rejected. Alan can optionally quickly hit the Submit button to submit the timesheet for approval using Approval Process. He submits last week's timesheet for approval. Now Alan goes back to the current timesheet. Alan selects this week's timesheet and fills out today's entry. On the subject, he types installation and selects the start and end time for this entry. Alan also chooses to relate this entry to a specific work order. He clicks on the work order lookup field and selects the work order. That's it. He's done for today. Let's check out what's coming up next on the resource pillar roadmap. Designated shifts will help planners make sure that certain types of shifts will be filled only with a certain type of work. For instance, making sure that while one of our field engineers are on call, we'll wake her or him up only if it's an emergency work and no other type of work could be scheduled on that time. Shift patterns are there to increase productivity while rolling out shifts. So instead of manually creating shifts, you'll be able to set up and apply patterns to automatically mass create shifts based on the types of shifts which are needed and how many should be created per day, week, or a month. Visualizing resource absences on the Shifts UI will surface another level of resource availability, helping planners making better decisions while assigning shifts. Last but definitely not least, we plan big improvements around our routing engine so we can provide much more accurate travel predictions and estimations at much higher performance, resulting in greater resource utilization and fewer white spaces on the Gantt. That's it for the resource pillar. Let's move on to Niv and the mobile pillar. Niv, you're up.
Thank you, Tzach. Cool stuff. Hi, my name is Niv Garber, and I'm a product manager in the Field Service mobile group, and I will introduce the amazing new features that are coming this winter release. Let's start with custom notification. Wolf is a field technician at IDVAC, an HVAC installation and maintenance company. Wolf is responsible for maintaining the HVAC system in his area. Some of his service appointments can be time-sensitive due to malfunction of the system in critical location, and some can be regular preventative maintenance. Currently, Wolf is unable to keep track of urgent assignments since all incoming notifications are the same and his manager has to call him to verify that he is aware of the emergency work. That will change in the upcoming winter release by introducing custom notifications. This new capability allows admins to send a fully customizable notification by flow, process, or API, providing unique notifications to every business scenario. It can work with or replace the out-of-the-box notification. Let's together use a custom notification to notify Wolf about an urgent service appointment using a process. Let's open the Setup, Notification Builder, and the Custom Notification page. In this demo, we have already created a notification type named Service Appointment Notification. Now, we will look at the process that we created in the Process Builder. We can see that the notification will be triggered when the Urgent checkbox property has changed to true. In Send Custom Notification action, we define the type, recipient, and the notification text. In this case, the notification will show a predefined text and the urgent service appointment address. Now, we will trigger the notification by changing a service appointment to urgent. On the mobile device, we will see a push notification, and the notification will be added to the Notification tab. This exciting new capability is easy to configure and allows you to define personalized notifications without code. Another amazing capability is a mobile extensibility toolkit. Sometimes Wolf has to calculate the system output power in order to ensure that the repair went well. This is a complicated calculation, and it is better if it is done automatically instead of a manual error-prone calculation. This can be achieved using the Mobile Extensibility Toolkit. The toolkit allows customers and partners to build web pages and embed them into the app. The extension is exposed to the user as an item in the Action menu, and it is available for offline use and can access the prime data. The Extensibility Toolkit comes with a handful of examples that can accelerate the development. Using the toolkit, we can extend the product to do the calculation automatically and even update the relevant record using the Extensibility Toolkit APIs. Let's see it in action. The extension is accessible via the Action menu. With the extension, Wolf can quickly calculate the needed value and update the service appointment record even while in the basement without any connectivity. So far, the Extensibility Toolkit was on a closed beta. Now we are opening it to a public beta, so everyone can enjoy the great capabilities that it provides. Providing the best user experience to assure an efficient work process is very important to us. This is why we are continuously looking for ways to improve it. In this release, we are doing so in two areas that will improve the user experience and provide more consistency between Android and iOS. First, in the Action menu, as we've seen before, Wolf uses lots of actions, flows, and the newly introduced extensions to get his work done. The new Action menu groups the actions in a consolidated way so that the access will be easier even while having a large number of actions. Another improvement is a Notification tab for Android. we already discussed the importance of notifications. The new tab provides a consolidated view of all the recent notifications for both the existing out-of-the-box and the new custom notifications. We have a couple of exciting new features in pilot that I would like to introduce. If you are interested in joining us in the pilot journey, reach out to your account manager. The first one is Briefcase. In some cases, a field worker would need objects primed that are not related to the service appointment. For example, priming all the assets in a certain area. Using Briefcase, admin can set up a priming logic per object for offline use cases. The primed object can be used for any offline work, such as flows or mobile extensibility toolkit. Another fantastic new capability now in pilot is appointment assistance. Letting service personnel into your house is always challenging. In the current situation, it is even more challenging than ever before. At Salesforce, trust is a core value for building products. And by giving visibility to the end customers on the planned arrival of the field service personnel, we increase the trust. Appointment assistants provide text notification and a configurable web view to provide better understanding on the planned arrival of the field service personnel. Again, if you are interested to join us in the pilot of those new exciting capabilities, reach out to your account manager. Thank you very much for your time. And now Yaron will show us the amazing new features in the foundation pillar.
First of all, thanks Niv for the wonderful mobile features overview. Hi everyone, my name is Yaron Dror and I'm a Senior Director of Product Management in Salesforce Field Service. Today I'm going to talk about some exciting new stuff that's coming from our foundation pillar. Let's get started. In Winter 21, we are releasing our first starter kit package that provides best practice templates for quicker onboarding. On our short-term roadmap, we have a pilot for work plans, a feature that will help guide mobile workers when they perform their tasks on the job site. Another cool feature we are planning to release soon is health checks for optimization insights. This feature will surface any data-related issues when optimization is running. And lastly, we will also be going to GA optimization insights, which we released as a beta in summer 20. With Winter 21, we are releasing a Salesforce Labs package focused on accelerating the implementation of your Salesforce Field Service project. Working together with you, our customers and partners, we created a backlog of common customized processes our customers often end up building in their implementation. And our plan is to build an inventory of best practice templates our customers can simply install and activate instead of having to build it from scratch. In our first package, we are providing the following templates. Real-time schedule updates. Move appointments on the Gantt based on status updates triggered by the field worker. The flow will update the schedule start and end fields, which in turn updates the Gantt and triggers scheduling recipes. This is important for customers with volatile schedules, where decisions need to be made or processes need to be triggered based on when a job actually started or completed. Track actual work duration. This flow templates populates the actual start, actual end, and actual duration fields based on updates to the status of the service appointment. This is very useful for customers when they want to analyze plan versus actual, or when they want to update the work type default duration field for better schedule planning. Custom work order parent field. Service appointed parent is a polymorphic field, meaning it allows the service appointment to be linked to parents from multiple objects. This is great for our customers that need that flexibility, but many of our customers actually mostly use work order as the parent of the service appointment. These customers prefer the standard functionality of a non-polymorphic field that better supports the platform customization capabilities such as formula fields and process builders. The package contains a custom lookup field, and the flow templates copy the ID from the standard parent field and adds it to this custom field. The Assigns Resource Related list under the service appointment supports multiple assignees working on the same appointment, like when the appointment was assigned to a service crew. Some of our customers are mostly assigning one field worker for every job, and in these cases, the related list isn't very helpful and actually poses some challenges when the customer wants to build simple reports and list views or to use process builder or formula fields on the service appointment. These things are much easier to implement when the detail is on the service appointment record itself and not on a child record. The package is adding a custom assigned service resource field on the service appointment object, and this template is populating the field with the relevant service resource ID to enable these previous examples I've mentioned. And in these cases, the related list isn't very helpful and actually poses some challenges when the customer wants to build simple reports and list views. Gantt label automation. Quickly surface the most important details on the service appointment block on the Gantt chart. This flow automatically populates the Gantt label field with the customer name plus the work type. Admin can customize the template to select any other field on the service appointment objects that they want on the Gantt label. Field Service Users Management Automation. This trigger saves admins time when they need to add new users to the field service application. The feature automates the assignment of permission sets and licenses, and in the case of a new field worker, also the need to manually create a service resource record for the user. Even though we implemented this one with an Apex trigger and not with a flow template, you can still enable or disable it from a setting screens like the rest of the processes in this package. Let's move on to the demo, where John the admin is working on a new list view with some challenging requirements. John the admin has received some requirements to build service appointment list views and reports. He moves to the IVEC list view he created earlier. The task is to display the work order priority, the assigned resource, and the Gantt label fields on these views and reports, but John is not sure how to get it right. The list is displaying the work order priority field, but as this field value is dependent on the service appointment parent, which is a polymorphic field, John couldn't pull that information to the service appointment record. The Gantt label field is showing some info for some of the records, but as call center agents type in the information manually, there is a lot of inconsistency and missing information. John prefers to automate it somehow and to include the work type and the account name in the label. John doesn't know how to add the assigned resource information to the records. Appointments are being scheduled by the system, but the resource information is on the assigned resource related list, and John can't use it for the service appointment list view. John installed the Field Service Starter Kit pack in the sandbox earlier today, so he decided to give it a shot. He opens the Starter Kit Settings tab to enable some of the flows. John read the user manual, and he learned that the first 3 settings here can help him with his list view. The first one is handling the automatic updates to the Gantt label. The second is going to populate a custom lookup field to the work order. That way, he could use a formula field to retrieve the work order priority field. The third one is going to populate a custom field with the assigned resource each time the appointment is scheduled. Let's save and test the app. John uses his test account, Ohana Inc. To schedule a new service appointment, John is using the candidate's action. That is going to create a new work order and a new appointment assigned to a service resource. He picks Gloria Barnes. Once the appointment is created, John is heading back to the list views he created earlier. Yes, it seemed that it worked. John is happy. The work order priority field is showing the right priority value. The assigned service resource is populated correctly, and the Gantt label was updated automatically and in the right format. That was easy. That's the end of my demo. Moving on to some future features in our roadmap. I'm very excited to talk about a project we've been working on for a while, a new feature called Work Plans. Work plans are steps to be completed by a field worker at the job site. It's about having consistency in the work that's done, no matter who is performing it. For example, commercial air conditioning might have a different set of items in a data center in a high-tech company versus a hospital. With work plans, you can create reusable templates of plans and steps and use a rules engine to automatically attach the right plans to the right work order. Then on the field, the mobile worker can easily follow the plan step by step until a successful work completion. Moving on to another upcoming feature from the foundation pillar. We're working on enhancing optimization insights by incorporating health check test as a new insights component. Health checks for optimization insights will help customers to understand whether they've had any configuration or data issues which might have impacted on the optimization results. The component will also suggest recommended actions to help you deal and prevent those issues from happening in the future. That will speed up troubleshooting optimization issues and will provide guidance for admins and implementers so they could be successful with optimization quicker than before. That is all we had for you today. We covered the highlights of the release, but do make sure to check out the release notes where you could learn about all of our features for this release. Moving back to you, Elna, for some Q&A.
All right, we are ready to take some of your questions now, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentations. They were really great from thank you presenters. So now we have some questions coming in. If you have a burning question that just occurred to you, feel free to enter it in the community or in Twitter. We're going to continue to monitor those during this Q&A segment. And I would suggest that you enter your questions sooner rather than later to make sure we can get to them on the air. But we got about a little over 20 minutes, so we're going to take a good number of questions. So take this opportunity to hear directly from our product managers on anything you're curious about. So let's start with a question from Fabrizio. So he wanted to know, and then this was posted a bit earlier today, how can I get access to the Winter 21 version of the Field Service mobile app? He doesn't see it currently. So who's going to take it?
Can you hear me?
One? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I will take it. So in order to get access to the beta app, we have posted in the Trailblazer community. It's available. There is a link. You can register both for iOS and for Android, and you will get early access for Sandbox.
Great. So when will it be available in the App Store? Or is there a route to get it in the App Store at some point?
Sorry, Elena, I couldn't hear you well.
I'm just wondering, so now for early access, there's the link in the community, and we should probably provide that after the session. Maybe Jacinta can post the link there if it's not already there in her pre-session post. But after the early release period, how is it going to continue to be through registration, or will it be in the App Store at some point?
So of course, once the beta program is finished, once we release the official app, it will be available in the App Store and Google Play for download and update for the existing application.
Great, thank you. This is a question from Powell, and actually Powell has posted quite a few questions, so we should be able to get to most of them. Is the maintenance plan Advanced Recurrence the same thing as what was previously called Advanced Maintenance Plan Pilot in summer 20?
Yes, I'll take that. In fact, we have just started the closed beta for the Advanced Recurrence for Winter 21 release. So if you're interested, or if your partner and your customer is interested, please ask the customer to contact the account representative, and we'll love to get a lot of customer feedback on this beta release.
So your account executive or account team member, if you have others, would be the person?
Right, it will be, yeah, the account, yeah.
Okay, great. And then let's talk a little bit about Asset 360. Is that included in field service licenses, or is it an add-on?
Right, so thanks for the question. The Asset 360 is not part of Salesforce Field Service license. It's sold by ServiceMax as a separate license.
So since it is separate, could you install it on something else other than field service, Salesforce Field Service?
Right. The answer to that is no. Asset 360s needs Salesforce Field Service to work. Customers, as a result, get the benefits of tight cooperation between Salesforce and ServiceMax, and seamless integration between the platform and Asset 360.
So you mentioned that this is built by ServiceMax. So since they're building Asset 360, does that mean that Salesforce is stopping their investment in asset management?
No, absolutely not. We are actually, in fact, accelerating our investment in field service, and in terms of building objects, building automations that not only would support Asset 360, but also would benefit the rest of the customer base. We're very excited about the growth in Salesforce Field Service, and we very much want to focus our investment to support the asset-centric industry. So we'll continue to accelerate our investment in this area. And Asset 360 is really an example of that.
Great. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Now, Zach, I've got a couple questions for you. So first of all, about dynamic priority. After I choose a priority field on the service appointment, what happens if both the service appointment and its work order has the priority set? What will the optimization engine decide, or what will it choose to do?
Good question. So in that case, if a service appointment is chosen as a priority-driven object, the engine will always look first at the service appointment chosen field. If the value on that field is empty, only then it'll go up and check on the service appointment's parent, which is either work order or work order line item. So it will always be either of the two.
Gotcha. All right, Yaron, I've got a question for you. Where and when can I get the starter kit pack? Is that on the Appexchange, or is it somewhere else?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. So the starter kit pack is part of the Salesforce Labs channel. And so it's going to be on the Appexchange. We are in our final post-production process of that. You should be able to see it in the next month or two. So, we'll update in the Trailblazer community once it's there. And beside that, we were also going to publish the links and documentation in our install link page. You know, that's the Salesforce Field Service has also an installation page where you can find our managed package links. You could also there find links to these packages. We're starting now with our first package, which is the starter kit packages. But in the future, we're going to have a slew of packages that you could choose from. And we're going to publish all of them in these pages and also in the Appexchange.
So when you said the pages, is this within the app, or in Salesforce, or where is the page?
So that's another thing. I want to raise the awareness for that. We're going to also publish the link, maybe the release community later. There's a link where there's a page where customers can go and find the latest links to our managed packages. You know, we have pre-release packages sometimes, you know, where you can install it in a sandbox, even if your production is still not on the latest release and all of that. So we do have a page where we post our documentation and our links. We had that from the first day of the product. Now we're going to add to the same website also the links for our best practices packages.
All right. So it sounds like we're going to share the link to the page in the community after the session. So if you are interested, if you want to get an email alert when we post that, you can go ahead and post in the community that you're interested in that link. So then we can comment on your post, and then you'll get an alert when we've provided that. So definitely, if you want it, let us know.
Just allow us, as I said, a month or two until we are completing all the post-production processes, right. But definitely we will share that.
Excellent. And is the package going to be unmanaged? So what, like, you know, with an unmanaged package, you have the opportunity to make some changes and customization. So is that how it's going to be set up, or will it be more locked down?
Correct. So no, we're going to enjoy the best of two worlds. So this is going to be a managed package, meaning when we have new versions, you could upgrade your package and just get this new version. This is something that you cannot enjoy when you have an unmanaged package. But we do want our customers to be able to take out these out-of-the-box processes and make them their own. But the vehicle that we're using is actually flow templates. So what's great about flow templates is that we are providing that template for our customers. They can then clone the template, make it their own, but we still can update the clone template if we have, you know, fixes, if we have enhancements to these templates, we can then upgrade to a new version. So customers can definitely modify their flow, just like they're building their own flows. They could take our flows and make them their own, but it is going to be a managed package.
Okay, so what if somebody uses like today's version or the first version of a flow template, and they clone it and then they make some changes, and then you release a new flow template? How would they incorporate those new updates to the template? Is there an easy way to do that? Or
so they couldn't do it automatically, but what you can do is one of the two things. They could take the new version of the template, clone that, and then incorporate whatever they did in the new flow that they created. Mm-hmm. Or they can just look at the changes that we've made to the template and then update in their own flow. So we look at the flow template as a living document. We could just, you know, release documentation how you can build the flow. Instead of that, we're giving you the flow. And what's great about the flow template, you can just go to your flow canvas, your flow edit, your flow builder, and just see how it's being built. Mm-hmm.
So it'll be obvious where the changes are by looking at the.
Yes, we will also provide the release notes. Right. But you know, one of the main benefits is that we want people to know, we want to be able to show what the best practice is to do things. To, you know, implement your use cases with field service. Every customer can do it differently. We want to give the best practice.
Gotcha. So is this package free, or is there a cost for it?
So that's definitely, you know, 100% free. That's an add-on like every other Salesforce Labs package. It's there for all of Salesforce customers to use and enjoy.
Gotcha. Okay, question just came in from Claudia. Is there a way to expand and collapse tasks in the work plan by something like category to improve the navigation for technicians and make it easy to find a task in a big list?
Are we talking about work plans? Remember, work plans is
okay.
This is a future feature, right? It's not something that it's out there. Talking about the future. So in the future, yes, we have plans to have a great user experience for work plans. One of the things you can do is actually create a couple of work plans under one work order. So if you have categories and it makes sense to create all of these categories as different work plans, then definitely go ahead and do that. The idea is going to be that you're going to build templates. So you're going to build templates for work plans with templates for work steps. You're going to group them together. Then automatically it's going to be added to work orders. So you can add more than just one. Specifics about the actual UX, can you, to be able to collapse work tasks and all of that. That's something that we still, plan and design. I'm not sure exactly what the specific is going to be, but you're going to have a lot of options and a great user experience.
Okay, yeah, Powell asked a similar question about work plan, AKA checklist items, just wondering how that's going to be defined. Is that also something that is still in the works, or do you?
I'm very happy to see how work plans is bringing excitement. I'm excited about that. Yes, so work plans, again, the idea is that our business users could create templates. So again, the template is going to be steps that you can reuse across different plans, and also plans that you can reuse across different work orders. And after you create these templates, these libraries, you also can define, using a rule engine, a specific, an easy rule object that can say something like, for this kind of asset, for this product, attach this work plans. And then the logic will automatically, once you create a new work order, it will find the right work plans and attach it to the work order. So that's the high-level concept of that. But tune in for our next release notes when we are going to actually release work plans, and you can see all about it. You will see a beautiful demo and learn all about it.
Nice, looking forward to that. So question for Niv. Is it possible to join the Briefcase pilot? And if so, how?
Yeah, so yes, the Briefcase pilot is open and looking for customers. I have to say that there are some limitations. It's still a pilot. We have product limitations, and we are looking for customers who will fit the pilot. So, of course, ask your account manager, and we will be happy to consider it based on the amount of data that needs to be primed and the way that it's working for you.
So can you just kind of give a ballpark of what are the requirements or what customer profile you're looking for?
So we are looking for customers who would need to prime additional data to the mobile application, but not too much. Okay, so if we are talking about tens of thousands of items, that may be something that we would like to do later on for an extended pilot.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. This is for Zach. So is there a specific mechanism for timesheet approvals?
So with timesheets approvals, we actually just leverage the platform approval process, where all you need to do is basically create an approval process that fits your business need on the timesheet object, and then this just fire away.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Another question from Powell about the Extensibility toolkit. What exactly is that? Is it a Lightning component, or is it built through some other way?
Oh, great question. So the Extensibility toolkit is a way to extend our mobile application in a web-based way. So it does not necessarily has to be a Lightning Web component. Any kind of HTML, JavaScript solution will work. Of course, we encourage you to use the open source libraries provided by Salesforce in order to make a more Salesforce look and feel. If you look into the examples and to the examples it is provided, you can already start working with it in a way that will be appropriate to give a Salesforce UI.
Great, thank you. And since I have your attention, can I send custom notifications on any object?
Yes, so yes, you can send it on any object that you would like. It doesn't necessarily have to be primed already to the mobile. If you would try to then open it, it will prime it automatically and open it and show you the record information. But you can basically, any object that you would like can be used.
Great, thank you. Another one about the starter pack. So how are the flows from the field service starter pack, how do they actually behave when work orders are created in bulk from maintenance plans?
Well, this is simply lightning flows, right? Flows are bulkified and they can handle, they process 200 records at a time. Same goes here. It's going to work like any other flow.
Okay, thanks. And regarding custom work order lookup on service appointments, and he's using an acronym here. I'm hoping you know what this is. What about WOLI or WOLI?
Okay, that's a work order line item.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's you know what, that's a great question, because we thought about adding a second flow and adding a new field on work order line item and doing basically these two flows twice, one per each object. But again, what we are thinking about these flow templates also, yes, as a starter kit, but also as our way to bring best practices to the field. So for an admin that sees how the work order feature, the work order parent feature was built using that flow, it's going to be super easy now to build it for work order line item, or actually for any other object that they feel like they need it. So we didn't release it as part of the package. It was a candidate for the package, but we decided not to. We might release it in the future if we hear more question for the community. But for now, we don't have it there. And we hope that people could just use whatever is there for work order and just, again, create their own.
Okay, thanks. Good news, and thanks for the flexibility of hearing the feedback to see what people would like in terms of the package.
Sure.
So this is another one for Zach. How can I control which fields are shown in the mobile timesheet and the timesheet entry records?
So thank you for the question. Those views are simply being controlled by the standard page layouts and also the compact page layout. Now, the compact page layout controls the list, the preview of the list of timesheets when you scroll through different timesheets. And the standard page layouts just control either the view or the edit for timesheet or timesheet entry records.
Great, thank you. Okay, just one final question. We might have partially covered this or already covered this, but let's just review because I think there's a lot of folks out there that are interested. How can I access the new user experience features? That's for Niv.
So the new user experience features will just be available with the new app. If you access the beta app, it will be there. You can just utilize it. And once the apps go into the App Store and Google Play, you will access it and you will get everything. What we suggest as best practice is to show it before to all the users, so they will not, they will already be familiar with it before. It's all very, very intuitive, yet obviously it's the best way to do it.
So if you want early access, then you can register, or you can wait for the app to be in the App Store, which is roughly with the time frame on that.
We were targeting it as alongside we are the release to production, so that will come in the same time frame.
Middle of October-ish. So sometimes it's hard to pinpoint mobile app release dates because some of the decision rests with the App Store owners, which is not us. So we kind of give you a range, but we don't always know exactly when. So I think that's why we can't be super specific. But we try. I think the effort is. I've noticed that the effort is made to have it come out around the same time our release goes into production. So maybe if we have the actual date, or if we know if we hear from the App Store and we know the exact release date, then it'd be nice for us to share that in the community for those that are following the Service Cloud group or the Release Readiness group as well. So, all right, well, thank you, everybody.
Once we have.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said we are updating once we have any more information in the community. That's the best way.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we didn't get to your question live, don't worry. We are definitely going to follow up with you within the next few days. We thank you. Thanks to all the presenters and thanks to the audience for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Just want to remind you that all of our recordings for this week will be available on the Salesforce Live website, probably by the end of the day today or tomorrow for today's sessions. And we have more sessions coming up this week, so we hope you'll join us tomorrow. We've got Salesforce Flow, we've got work.com, and then we've also got communities, B2B, B2C commerce, and Marketing Cloud and Pardot later this week. So come back and join us again tomorrow, 9 a.m. And I really just can't wait to hear how you're using new features to innovate. So please, let's keep the conversation going in the Release Readiness community where all trailblazers meet to be release ready.